This is number 3, the Empress card. This is much more like Sam's Crazy World. Quite a lot of wildness going on here, and it's very different to the original card. There's a female figure seated on a throne with lots of fertility symbolism. She's carrying a scepter and she has a crown of 12 stars. There's a lot of associations with nature there. And I think that's what this card speaks to as well. There's a lot of red, which is like fire, I guess, and blue water, a bit of yellow sunshine, and then white, which I guess is spirit. It's like just the idea of lots of things emerging out of the fire. Like lots of things grow out of nature. A sort of central dragon type figure, his mouth wide open, and top left there's a female figure as well with a bird which makes up her left arm. So just to zoom in a bit, because there's a lot of chaos, there's this sort of central dragony type figure. His tongue is like a ladle shape, which is symbolic of something that's come up before. And over on the left hand side, almost stood atop that dragon, is someone facing away. Look like they've got sort of something on their back, perhaps wings. And below the dragon is a flying person with a shell on their back who looks like they're speaking or singing. There's stuff coming out of their mouth. So there's a close-up on that female figure. She's actually got a serpent coming over what would be her right eye. She's got no brow on, dragon making up her abdomen, and then 2 figures making up her legs. Like I said, a bird, then that would be her left arm. Strikes me as somebody who gives zero shit about causing problems. And to her left is what looks like a rabbit or a hare, which is another symbol of the goddess. So over to the right of her is this male figure that looks a bit like an astronaut, and he's actually got a serpent sort of coming out of his mouth. There's a couple more figures to the left, to the right of that. I'm not quite sure what they are. There's this kind of like seahorse type thing in the middle, and then what looks like a flying hat with a backwards E on it, and then, I don't know, flying anvil or something with someone on it. There's a couple of kneeling figures down the bottom. This one central here looks like a female figure kneeling, and then coming out of her knees is like a head, and it's just like they're flying. So it strikes me as a lot of wildness here, which is like the forces of nature, which, although are wild, can also create beautiful things. You can work with them to have some sort of control, but it's always sort of like technically uncontrolled. Even though it's not depicted here, I get the impression that the Empress is like someone who has the reins on all of this. Pull it back or let it go completely. And so if I was given this card in a reading today, I would say it's about needing to let go of the reins a little bit, worrying about having too much control, because there's a lot of fun and power and magic in sort of letting go. She says this is an absolute control freak. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe.